Keep bad. 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 Yes, this video is about everyone's favorite rent-a-goon politician in the UK. It is, of course, Keith Vaz, the man who has defended Britain admirably against the horror of violent video games. And now it turns out, well, he might not be the moral arbiter that he thinks he is. So I'm Richard Lewis, obviously. I don't know if Big Bag is still going on in the background. We've got Big Sam.
His face, mate.
Yeah, good. I think it's important that we show everyone who he is. How are you, Sam? You all right, mate?
Yeah, good, mate. That's the most ridiculous thing we've ever done.
Yeah, good. Bit of a departure to our usual videos because look, we obviously do gaming stuff, you know, No Man's Sky and all of that, and on occasion we'll dip our toe in that water. Usually we talk about esports and stuff, and occasionally politics, and this is like sort of a melange, a melding of all of the topics that I'm interested in, because Keith Vaz, Member of Parliament, a Labour MP, it was found out that he was hiring male escorts and Eastern European male escorts. I don't know why that's a detail.
I was going to say, why does it matter?
It doesn't, just adding more details to the story. Yeah. And, you know, offering to buy them cocaine, asking them to bring him drugs, and, you know, he's going to have, and then admitting that he had unprotected sex with them. He's married with kids, obviously.
Telling him to bring drugs is making it sound a lot cooler than it actually was. He asked him to bring poppers, mate.
Yeah. Well, let's get in. Let's get into it, right? I mean, first of all, this is why this story is important. It's got nothing to do. First up, I don't know about you, Sam. I don't have a problem really with prostitution per se.
No, why not?
Don't really have an issue with it. Think sex work should be legal. I think every country that's adopted that policy has seen improvements, quality of life improvements for the people that do decide to make a living that way. I've been to Amsterdam a lot of times. I think they've got some pretty progressive policies out there. And I think Germany's had some kind of like semi-legal situation in some parts of Germany. I just think, you know, we need to sort of get out of that caveman mentality that, there's this corrupting influence on every street corner. I don't really mind, you know, there's escort services are pretty much under everyone's nose when you go to a place like Las Vegas, for example. So it's not really a big deal to me, mate. Now, on drugs, I think I've been fairly open about how I'm not really, you know, into that either. Like, I don't like to demonize people for what chemicals they like to take. Thought it was interesting, though. We've got two here. First of all, poppers isn't illegal in the UK. It's actually a legal drug, amyl nitrate. I'm guessing you know all about that, Sam. You know what it does to your body, right?
I've never actually done poppers. I remember I did that shitty like nitrogen hits, like Whippets.
Oh yeah.
Similar.
Well, like off the squirty cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to a house party, right, and a guy had bought 400 of the little canisters. He goes, come upstairs, mate. I was like, why? I was come upstairs. Got this box of just full of whipped cream Whippets. So I was like, fucking hell.
Is that where it all went wrong? You actually have a whipped cream addiction.
Yeah,
you used to be like. You used to be fucking 14 stone, ripped, and then you discovered, hang on, that was good. I had a bit of a head rush for 10 seconds, but the delicious cream. Straight fucking wrecking it. No, I mean, I've done poppers, and you know, it was like some fucking party drug that was going around for a while. I'll tell you a funny fucking story about this shit. So I went to a festival one year. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was Reading or Phoenix. I want to lean towards the Phoenix Festival. I don't even know if the Phoenix Festival's still going. It's a long, long time ago. And we went there, and you know how it is. You pitch your tent, you start drinking, you know, you check out a few of the bands and stuff. Eventually you get to know people on your campsite. And one night we all got together. We were all in a big round circle, drinking, talking, you know, people from different parts of Britain, just socializing. And we're in this circle around a campfire, and someone gets out like a little bottle of poppers, you know, and like with a thumb over it, right, so it don't evaporate or whatever. And there you are, mate. Get a load of this. So, all right, cool. Bit of a head rush. Sound. Bit lightheaded. Passed it to this dude next to me. And he's had a sniff, like, oh, yeah. And then he passed it to this dude. And this dude's just gone. Oh, legit.
No way, mate. No way.
Mate. He's just done it like a shot, right? So we're just like...
He's dead. He's gone.
We were just like... Do you know what I mean? It's like pass the parcel with a fucking stick of dynamite. What the fuck is this happening? So everyone's just like instant buzzkill. Well, we're gonna see a death. It's time for the old party death. We're gonna be in the tabloids. Anyway, it didn't take long before this kid's going full fucking exorcist. Like, I've never met him, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, just that he's having a spew on the floor, like completely blurred out. Like, so we were just like, well, you should probably call a paramedic. But thanks for the beer, bye. Like, just fucking slap. Fucking come off it, mate. Like the guy was so drunk, he wasn't even paying attention to what we were all doing. Here you are, mate. You know, all trying to be cool and shit. Yeah. Give it to him. So down the hatch, bro. Fight.
Cheers, bud.
Fucking hell. So yeah, that was pretty fucked up. So that's like my papa's story right there. I think people were expecting it to be a different kind of story. No, it was that some guy just downed it. Fuck knows what happened to him. I hope he's okay. If you've ever done that and you're watching this video, get in touch because you're probably the only person. Definitely not okay. So anyway, also Keith Vaz, as well as obviously getting poppers, he was saying, let's get some coke. And this is what's great about it, right? Like, again, I don't mind. You have to understand that if this guy was just a regular guy, not a politician, hadn't led all these moral crusades that we're going to get into, I have no issue with this. But the point is, you cannot dictate other people's behavior while engaging in types of behavior that other people might not want you to engage in, right? Like, once you set yourself up as a moral compass, a moral arbiter for society, you have to be whiter than white. You've got to lead that clean, life where you're not doing anything. You don't engage in any dubious activity whatsoever. I mean, the fact that this guy sat on a committee which had to make policy about what we do with people who use escort services, and funnily enough, I don't think we should punish him, mate. Oh, really, Keith? Why is that then? No reason, just a gut feeling.
Sound.
Once poppers, mate. Down the hatch, fucking hell, Cameron. You know what I mean? Right, so once you set yourself up as being, I am equipped to tell you how to live your life, then actually you've got to be fairly virtuous and operate within the parameters of the law. This is illegal. Certainly the offer to buy cocaine while not realized was illegal. And if you look at it here, like I've got a breakdown of what happened. I mean, it's pretty fucking hilarious. This is what I love first up, right? So Keith Vaz, when he was talking to these Eastern European male escorts, which is luridly repeated in the tabloid papers, that's why it's in my brain. They're fucking with me. Eastern European male escorts. Yep. Thanks, Daily Mail. Thanks for that, mate. But he like, this shows you how divorced from fucking reality politicians are, right? Like these politicians. He goes, oh, so what's your name, by the way? Jim. He couldn't do better than Jim, right? And then he goes, oh, all right, Jim, what do you do for a living? I sell washing machines. Like but to a politician trying to imagine the life of a pleb, right? That's literally what's happening here. What do the commoners do? Well, they're called Jim, and they sell things, don't they? Off vans. They sell things off the back of vans. I heard about that. And then it's like, look, he thinks he's getting pretty hot shit in it. So he goes, these are industrial washing machines, though, for big hotels. There's even a gap. 4 hotels in the transcript. And then he even spelled out his name as well, which is a surefire way if anyone's lying about their name. What's your name, mate? And you go, Rich. R-I-C-H. Like, it's like you're trying to prove, look, I know my name. It's not made up. I can spell it and everything. He went Jim and then goes J-I-M. Poor guy. Poor guy. So if you look through, you can find this. You can find all the texts and everything. I mean, he was shortchanging these escorts as well. Like, it's so fucked up, mate. He's like, hang on, let me just read it. Do you want to bring up the?
Yeah, I already have, mate.
Oh, good. You're a legend. But yeah, just send me a picture of him when you get a chance and try and pick up some poppers for tomorrow. Someone will need to break him tonight. Fucking hell. Yeah, what an aggro top. No wonder this dude needs poppers, because Keith Vaz is going to get right up in there. He's going to get right up in there.
Way up inside your butthole.
Yeah, right? But we haven't even talked about that, have we? Yeah, we should probably mention, principally poppers. Like, obviously, when we were doing it at festivals, it was to get a head rush. But, of course, the other thing it does is it's a muscle relaxant, and it dilates your ass. So it's very popular in people who like to have things pushed up their ass. Whatever that might be. It might be sexual. It might be some sadomasochistic thing. Smugglers, I imagine. Yeah, no, I never even thought about that. That might be a good idea. You can get it way up inside. So poppers are, they've got it's a wonderful chemical. They've got loads of stuff, loads of positive stuff. So yeah, look at that. And he just mentions the poppers twice. Like, send me a picture. Don't forget the poppers. Don't forget them poppers, yo. So it's pretty unreal. I mean, here's the thing. A lot of people have been saying, you shouldn't shame him over this. Obviously, he's been in the closet for a long, long time. He's having to live as a gay man. And you shouldn't shame him because, obviously he's had to leave. No one knows any of this. No, I mean, you're making some pretty mad assumptions there, actually. Like, bisexuals exist, by the way. Can we just say that? Like, they're the most underrepresented sexuality choice of all time, which is ironic, given that, they've got the most variety on the table. Fucking no one talks about him. He might just be a bisexual. He just might like both. He might be like some fucking political Prince Oberyn. Both things delight him. Why not? Why do we got to attach like some mad sympathy story to it? And that's not even the fucking point. The point is the guy thinks he's capable of dictating to others, this is how you should live your life. Meanwhile, I'll be in the back having sex with prostitutes, doing beak off an erection. There you go. I'm doing beak off a chode. You know what I mean? Like, that's Chordy acceptable, isn't it? Classic game. The old, chordy beak. You know what I mean? It's unreal, isn't it? It's unreal. And what was that bit that you were laughing at? The bit with Grindr?
Oh, yeah, and actually, hang on, let me get the thing, because it's funny when he says, right, let's let it play. Wait, fuck, hang on, I've got any sound. Wait.
Sound.
No sound, there he is.
What? Jim. Look up Grindr, see who's in the building. There must be someone else.
He goes, look on Grindr, see who's in the building. Like, he's not even putting it to the street. There must be more dick in this building. Get on Grindr.
Thing is, though, have you ever been on Grindr?
But I assume it's like Tinder, right?
Nah, it's different though. It's like it's real. It's real specific where people are. Like, you can like straight up just like locate people. Like, it's actually true. Like, there will just be like beeping in the building.
Ready for knob. 473.
Ready for action. Ready for action, mate. That's how it works. It's a bit different to Tinder. The tracking. Yeah, no, it is. That's the thing, mate. It's straight. This is what no one wants to talk about. Like, for what the purpose is. If that's your purpose, yeah. If you don't want to go through the rigmarole, Grindr's loads better. If you're not interested in any long-term thing, you just get on Grindr. It's like fucking, that map when like Batman in fucking The Dark Knight's got all like the fucking sonar and he's like got all of it's like that.
Scanning.
The Dick Knight can just go out there and just find it. Good for him, But as I said, this isn't the point. The point is, like, I don't give a fuck that he's gay. I don't give a fuck he's using poppers. I don't give a fuck that he's buying coke. Whatever, right? Do what the fuck you want, but definitely don't use your position to dictate to others how they should live, while wanting to have all your little secrets and live the way you want to live. That when that in itself is an outlier, your life choices exist on the fringes of what is deemed acceptable by society. You attack people for doing things that are perfectly acceptable. So let's start, right? How do I know Keith Vaz? Obviously met him on Grindr. No. How do I know Keith Vaz? So the first time I ever come across Keith Vaz, I was just a young kid.
Can't use the term come across after this story.
Yeah, actually, mate. Can we get serious and move away from the lurid innuendo? Just play the song again, you know. Right, let's just reset, right? So in the late 80s, there was a book called The Satanic Verses by Salman Rushdie, and it was the first time I'd ever seen sort of this, outrage in the Islamic world, like this outrage about people denigrating their religion or being blasphemous. It was, I was young, but I was very aware of what was going on. And basically, Keith Vaz actually led a large group of people in Leicester that were calling for the Satanic Verses book to be banned. I mean, like, he advocated for the banning of literature, right? So literally full on, burn the books, burn them all, get rid of the wrong thing. Like, Keith Vaz actually stood for that. So again, let's I mean, I won't even get into what the Quranic texts say about unprotected sex with male escorts while doing poppers, right, and coke. I won't get into that, right? But he basically deemed that Salman Rushdie, who obviously is one of Britain's great literary minds and has achieved a great deal. It was a fictional book that drew on some Quranic texts, Quranic verses that was specifically referred to as the Satanic Verses, which what certain prayers can be made to three pagan Meccan gods called Alat, Uzza, and Manat, and the whole thing is about magical realism. All of that stuff plays a very small part in the story. But this was an award-winning book. This was highly praised by critics at the time, and yet Keith Vaz wanted to burn and destroy this book on the basis it was blasphemous, on the basis that it offended Muslims, on the basis that it didn't line up with his worldview. And I fucking hate that. I fucking hate the book burners, Like, that's where it all fucking starts. They come in, anybody that wants to be censorious, it starts there, right? Let's shut down literature. Let's shut down discourse. And, he didn't just do the march, dude. Like, he was one of the main prominent speakers in Great Britain. He said the book was appalling, absolutely appalling, and that he would give his full support, right, for people who wanted to shut this book down. Now, you might not remember, again, because you weren't born, and I don't know if you'd have been looking up on this, but Salman Rushdie, still to this day, by the way, has a fatwa on him, all right, which there's a bounty of, it's now up to $3.4 million if you kill him.
In what country?
Right? Well, it was issued by Iran, I think.
Okay.
And basically, like, here's what's crazy about it, though. It's not just come from, like, religious groups. I mean, they've contributed to it, but the Iranian media contributed to it. Think about that. Think about a media service contributing to a bounty to have somebody killed. Keith Vaz, by the way, loves that. Keith Vaz, totally on board with it. Totally on board with it. Write a book. Fuck you. You deserve to be killed. He's never vocally advocated for it, but he pledged his full support to the groups that did advocate for this. Guilt by association. So, okay, that was the first time I'd ever really heard the name Keith Vaz. And after all of that, he had ties to being like, an apologist for the IRA. he said a few like ridiculous things during attacks, like, the IRA hadn't bombed it. It was the British Army they'd left explosives there and they blew. He was like, I don't know. It was just like he's just one of those fucking controversy baiting politicians, right? So this is when he comes into games. This is when he gets involved in games. I think it's in 2004. Now, in 2004, there was a kid called Stefan Pekira. And I'll just bring up the details of this. What happened was a pretty fucking horrible case. Do you remember Manhunt, the game?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, once again, obviously, because people forget that, the mainstream media, they love games. No, they fucking don't. No, they don't. They'll come in and they'll use us whenever they want, but as soon as there's anything that they can vaguely, tangentially associate us with that's negative, as you're going to see by the entire fucking career of Mr. Vaz, they'll blame gamers collectively. They do want to take your fucking games away. Ignore anyone who says differently. So in 2004, there was a 14-year-old kid, Stefan Pekira, who was lured to a park in Leicester by an old boy called Warren LeBlanc, and he was killed with a hammer. And the plan was to rob him, and what they did was there was this game Manhunt, which was made by Rockstar Games. Obviously, they've always flirted with controversial subject matter. And the story of Manhunt, if you've ever played it, is you're like a criminal and you get sentenced to death, but it's fake. You're not really killed, and you get dropped into like some mad fucking arena with CCTV cameras everywhere, and you've got to like walk around and do stealth kills, and there's varying degrees of stealth kills. So like you can do like a really weak stealth kill and it's not quite as gory, or you can do the maximum one, which are like really gory, like, ridiculous. So extreme examples, like putting a carrier bag over someone's head, you smash the top of the dome in with a claw hammer, and then the blood fills up the bag, big bag, blood bag, and then they drown on the blood, right? And you get extra points for the more flamboyant and grotesque the kill is. Now, obviously, that caused an outrage at the time, but they strongly linked it to this kid, right? They strongly linked it. And obviously, the parents, of the victim, they've got a dead child. And you know what it's like? Grief's a fucking funny thing, dude. It makes you want to blame things that aren't really to blame. It's normal. It's natural. So as soon as somebody latched onto the fact that this kid, this older kid, that the murderer had played this game, that was it. The parents were like, I heard some of Warren's friends say he was obsessed by this game. To quote from the website that promotes it, it calls it a psychological experience, not a game, and encourages brutal killing. If he was obsessed by it, it could well be that the boundaries for him became quite hazy. Now, because it was in the Leicester area, Keith Vaz, who is at best a professional fucking ghoul and serial fucking careerist politician, will literally use anything that he can, no matter how tasteless and insensitive, to basically further his own political career. So naturally, death of a child, wicked. I'll latch on to that. I'm into that. So he was all over it, and they did a review, and Mr. Vaz called for the game to be banned and for its upcoming sequel, which had already been slated. And he said it was based on compelling evidence that these games had a direct impact on the actions of this man. Now, this compelling evidence doesn't exist. Never has existed. There's never been a scientific study that actually directly links violence in video games to people acting out violence in real life. It's never happened. And in the murder case, Manhunt was officially ruled to have played no part whatsoever. Key fact there, and this was reported by several outlets, and despite that, Vaz is on the record as saying, who knows what may have happened if these proposals were in place just prior to Stefan Pekira's death. Well, given it seems that the motive for the crime was to steal, I don't think it will make any difference. I think that's a problem. That predates video games, maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure of the history, mate. So Yeah, they had the Byron report. The upshot of that was Manhunt 2 was the first game to be banned in the UK in over 10 years at the time of its release. We'd actually been making forward progress in video games. Keith Vaz comes in, chats a load of shit, cites some things that aren't even real, don't exist, and oh well, look, there's a politician now, so now it matters. And again, piggybacking a tragedy to further his ends, and I can't understand this. I can't understand why he targeted violent video games, but he's done it consistently throughout his career. We also have him, I think, next up. Believe it was 2008 or 2009. 2009, sorry. Well, when Modern Warfare 2 came out, Keith Vaz pipes up again. Right? Now, keep in mind, you play Modern Warfare, yeah?
Yeah, I played a shitload of it.
Yeah. Now, would you describe it? And keep in mind, this is the game, obviously, that had that, what was that level? No Russian, where you have to kill all the innocent, unarmed civilians. Now, that's a tiny part of the game, right?
Yeah, and in some countries, they just removed that scene.
Yeah.
I knew they had to put a warning in after the game launched. They had the hotfix to put a warning in saying this could be distressing. I remember that happening. Yeah.
So he, again, just, what's that? Huge game release, doing really well commercially. Slight adult theme in there. And again, just what are we doing when we I mean, obviously this guy is anti-art. I think we can say Keith Vaz is anti-art. Offensive literature, burn the book. Offensive games, shut it down. This guy he hates the creative process. He obviously despises creativity, despises art. It's quite clear from all of his policies and everything that he's tried to do. But he said, again, he was absolutely shocked by the violence portrayed in the game. Now, I've seen films. You seen Die Hard?
Yep.
Pretty good film, right?
Yeah, not bad.
Best Christmas movie of all time, right? Apart from maybe The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Right? Good movie. Guess what fucking happens in that movie? Innocent people get fucking killed. Remember that greasy fucker with the beard?
Yeah.
Drinking the Coca-Cola and he's trying to negotiate?
Yep.
With Bruce Willis in the vents? Yeah, and then he gets his... Well, what happens to him? He's innocent, he's unarmed, he's killed. Well, it walked my fragile little man, sir. No, it didn't. It's just a film, innit? No one really died. It's all right. That's what happens. It works for the story. It now shows that the killers are cold and hot. It wasn't just gratuitous. It wasn't like, I mean, and I don't even necessarily have a problem if it's gratuitous, but it wasn't like hatred or anything, right? This was like, there was actually a very important reason it was happening in the story. But no, he ignored all of that, and he went after Activision, went after everyone else, and again, tried to ride how big and how successful this game was, just to put himself in the limelight, making a bunch of false declarations about how fucking games are evil and violence is bad, and it links they're linked real life violence is linked to video games. Still no scientific evidence to back that up. Then he did it again with Counter-Strike. Yeah, he did it again. There was some shootings in Malmo, Sweden, and I think it had just come up. I mean, keep in mind, motherfucker's from Sweden. Obviously, he's played Counter-Strike, hasn't he? I mean, it's one of the most popular FPS games of all time. Well, yeah, this is pre-CS:GO, so this was like 2010, 2011 or something. And again, he said that the game Counter-Strike was associated with the racially motivated shootings in Malmo. It was a 38-year-old dude who got arrested, and the motivation was racial. He'd been spouting all that racist bollocks. What does Keith Vaz say? Games, that is, mate. What? Not, but he's saying, he's just
racist.
Yeah, he just said he's done it for racist reasons. He's alive. He's talking. He said he was targeting people based on their ethnicity as well. Games, that, mate. It's games, that is. Keith, are you sure? Are you on fucking poppers or something? No, mate. Fucking games.
Why is your nose all red?
Not nothing, man. Why's your ass? No. Hey. Unreal, isn't it? Like the idea that this guy has, and that's what I mean when I call him a fucking ghoul, Like something happened. Oh, people dying, are they? I'll come in. Video games did that, mate. Definitely didn't, mate. And every time you fucking put your greasy little fucking head up like whack a cunt, right? It's got nothing to do with games. It's always fucking, it's always, the motive's always there. It's always in black and white. The motive is there. Nope, games. Definitely games. Yeah, he tried to rob him, though. Games. Yeah, he said it was racially games. Get this.
What about this guy doing pot buzzing on and prostitutes? Games.
Yeah, no, I honestly thought it was going to get so fucking meta, because where it would have been fucking genius for Keith Vaz would have been if he'd fucking actually said, the reason I did this, I've been playing a lot more video games lately. That would have been fucking...
So good.
That would have been actually... I was playing Grand Theft Auto 4, I think it is, where you can become, they've got that weird thing in it where you can like go on dates with men and you can choose to kill them. And if you do it, it triggers like some events in the games. You can be like Colonel Cuddles and Malcolm Sex. That's one as well. Yeah. So anyway, you can meet up with them anyway, is what I'm saying. You can meet up with Malcolm Sex and Colonel Cuddles and all this other stuff. So if you'd blamed that, it would have been perfect. Would have been the ultimate troll. Didn't know. Didn't blame that.
That low.
Hasn't really took responsibility at all, actually. Just said, I am very sorry for any embarrassment caused, especially my wife and kids. Well, yeah. Your wife would be fucking embarrassed, wouldn't she, mate? She fucking really would be. It's all over the news that you've had unprotected sex with a dude and then climbed into your marital bed. Some people don't like that. Generally, the person you're married to. But anyway, there was more of his attacks on games. He filed a motion for the government, to the government in 2010, 2011, I think it was. Yeah, 2011, sorry. And in it, again, completely fucking shameless. He wants to have more stringent controls, i.e. more censorship on what games we play. And if you have a look at the actual motion that they put in, here it is. It says, this House is reminded of the consequences of the ineffectual Pan-European Game Information, PEGI, classification system for video games, following the testimony of Anders Breivik about the tragic events in Norway in July 2011. Now, here's the thing. Like, Breivik had said that he played Call of Duty and that he talked to people while playing World of Warcraft. Could you find me a more vague... Like, anyone who's had access to the internet has probably played World of Warcraft and had a conversation with someone. I couldn't... There'll be no one in my circle of friends who hasn't played one Call of Duty. Does that mean the entire classification system is ineffective? That one, again, predicated on racism, decides to commit a mass shooting. Right? But no, just a fucking ghoul, mate. Just a fucking... the victim's still grieving, did you say? Can I turn up and talk about video games?
He's a ring wraith.
Yeah, what an absolute cunt. Like, you know what I mean? It just straight up, though. How do you even... where's... What? When you're looking at a tragedy, right? Like, where's the fucking humanity where you go, oh, we should probably leave it a while before we, like, try and, like, just capitalize on... Like, like, maybe I should just leave it, like, 2 weeks, maybe, months, 6 months, a year, before I look like a complete greasy piece of exploitative shit. You know what I mean? Maybe do that. Nah. Gotta capitalize, haven't you? Gotta do it for your political ends. So he said, notes in his submission of evidence to the court, Breivik describes how he trained for the attacks using the video game Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I mean, I tell you, as someone who's fired real guns, it ain't like an FPS. Like, just putting that out there, good luck. If you think playing Call of Duty is going to help you wield a fucking AR, 15 or something, well, it's not going to. It's simply not. It said, use the game to help hone his target acquisition. Like, what?
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's absurd, isn't it? Like, what he's trying to do is he's trying to link again, it all comes back to this idea of no Russian. Comes back to this idea of killing unarmed civilians, because he actually did target a camp where kids were all away and stuff, and didn't have weapons and couldn't defend themselves. But that's standard. People, anyone who wants to do, right? Okay, let's say I'm a fucking piece of shit nutcase, right? And I've decided to do a mass shooting, yeah? Do I go to a place where they have guns and can shoot back? Or do I go to a place with no guns? Let's just weigh this up, like, real fucking quick. Do I need Call of Duty to tell me this? Obviously, you go where you know, maximum carnage if you want to make a point, don't you? So dumb. But no, video games. And he's concerned that the PEGI classification system can only provide an age rating and not restrict ultra-violent content. It recognizes that in an era of ever more sophisticated and realistic gameplay, more robust precautions must be taken before video games are published, and calls on the government to provide for closer scrutiny of aggressive first-person shooter video games. That was the motion he filed. So he's been at war with fucking video games for fucking ages. And I find it interesting that while there is no scientific evidence to link video games to real life violence, there's probably a lot, that links unprotected sex to contracting STDs, to using recreational drugs and health problems. And let's just look at it this way. I imagine he'd have no problem if it was another member of parliament labeling them a role model. Again, I don't necessarily think if your role model's a politician, you're in for a fucking hard time. You're in for a hard time. But I guess that's the type of language he would use. He's the moral arbiter, right? He's the guy who knows best. He's the guy who knows how we've got to live. So I guess he's a role model, obviously. Well, now people might want to copy Keith Vaz. So I guess we need to ban him. We really need to fucking shut him down and basically monitor what he does from now on, I think, because that's the only sensible option. Because otherwise, people might go out and copy Keith Vaz. Getting wrecked on beak and poppers. something to avoid if you have blood pressure problems. So, and the fact as well is, it's not even just the fact that he's been a bit ridiculous. Let me just give you some more of Keith Vaz's greatest hits, like, just in case this isn't enough to make an argument against him. So first of all, he was embroiled in a case where there was two brothers that were looking to emigrate and come into the UK, and they do quite well to do. And Keith Vaz had made inquiries on their behalf, right, about when will their citizenship be approved and all of this. And then it turns out that the people he was inquiring on behalf of had donated money, right, and they'd ran things, had events in his honor, right. That's okay. I mean, that's just standard cronyism and petty corruption you see at all levels of governments. I guess that's all right. I guess we just let that one slide. He also wrongly accused a police officer of having harassed his mother, when the police officer was able to prove with phone records that hadn't happened. Didn't happen. So he actually lied to a committee on standards and privileges. He actually actively lied and was suspended for 1 month, while being proven demonstrably to have lied in an attempt to take retribution against a police officer that was investigating some of his conduct. Great guy, right? I mean, this is the guy. This guy definitely gets to tell people how to live, doesn't he? He also helped a billionaire who was involved in what is considered one of the biggest acts of corporate fraud in the Western world. He actively tried to help that individual called Nadmi Aushi. Actively tried to help him avoid extradition to France to face trial for his crimes. Again, all predicated on favors, right? Oh, and of course, Vaz was one of the people who backed the idea of keep in mind, he's marched with pro-Islamists. He's marched with people who don't want Muslims to be discriminated against. Well, do we think if anti-terrorist laws were going to be used and abused, who'd be targeted in Britain? Be young Muslims, right? Vaz actually backed 42 days you can be held without charge if you are a suspected terrorist. He backed that, which is obviously a despicable affront to human rights. He backed that. Maybe people who attempt to purchase drugs and, hookers, maybe they should be held for ages without charge. It's ridiculous. You see what I mean, though? It's just like this fucking, and it just goes on and on and on. Didn't declare expense. Like, I don't even understand how this guy still has a fucking job. And just to put it into a broader context. Okay, personal freedom and personal choice. Very important to me. I think that much is abundantly clear, right? Over the course of this channel, over the course of the videos, everything I've written, everything I've said, personal choice, personal freedom is very important to me. Now, playing computer games, personal freedom, personal choice. What books you write, what books you read, personal freedom, personal choice. Keith Vaz opposes them. And they don't put any detrimental effect financially on society. Yet, Keith Vaz supports homeopathic medicine. And he wants it to be paid for on the NHS. Now, do you know what homeopathic medicine is?
No, I don't, Matt. Educate me.
Right, you're gonna love this shit, right? I learned about homeopathic medicine from the great James Randi, the leading skeptic in the world. But it's gonna blow your fucking mind. So, first of all, let's say you have a problem, right? Like, you've definitely got a problem, mate.
Bare problems.
All right, well, let's say your symptoms are the shakes, diarrhea, and someone else.
Poppers.
Yeah, he's drank some poppers, mate. Right? So let's say they're your symptoms, okay? So what homeopathic medicine does is we look through a book to find out what herbs and elements and whatever would cause those symptoms. Okay? Then I take that and I make a solution of it, and then I dilute that solution to the point where you could barely describe it as having trace elements in it, because they believe the more diluted the solution, the stronger it is. Scientifically impossible. So homeopathic medicine is giving people water, right, for your symptoms. First of all, the diagnostic aspect of it is completely fucked up. Second of all, it's water. And third of all, they literally stand by the assertion that the more dilute a substance is, the more powerful it is. So they literally say, well, fucking hell, that silver nitrate hasn't fixed you up. Better dilute it a bit more. Get more water in it. Get more water in it. Oh, thank fuck for that. Oh, that's loads better now.
To be fair, water does always help. Unless you drown in, of course.
Yeah, well, it definitely doesn't help drowning. But like, that's what homeopathic medicine is. It's giving people water. It's placebo. And he wants the National Health Service to pay for it, right? Tax.
You need to buy at least 1,000 bottles of water, lads.
Yeah. And this is the thing. And he advocates for it on the basis that, well, two things. First of all, people anecdotally say that it works. Dude, people say that about prayer. Should we have prayer on the NHS? You into a bit of prayer? Right, my nan's got cancer. What have you got for me, doc? Have you tried prayer? You'd be like, what the fuck is this? We got two great new treatments we want to use. There's no waiting list on them because they don't fucking work. We got a bit of prayer and we got a bit of water. What do you want, mate? Have a drink of water, but it has got trace elements of fucking witch hazel in it
and mint leaves. It should be
so that should really bring down that huge tumor in no time at all. Just bring it right down. That tumor that's so big you can actually see it through her clothes. Water will fix that, mate. So he says that fucking basically on the fact that anecdotally it works and people should have personal choice. He advocates for it. And he thinks we should all pay for that shit, even though it's fucking pseudoscience. It's mumbo jumbo. That's Keith Vaz. That is Keith Vaz in a fucking nutshell. So look, I honestly, fuck, dude, I totally forgot to even put in a bit about Bully. He just hates Rockstar games, obviously. He tried to have Bully banned as well. Yeah. But look, that's why when I fucking saw this news, I just thought it was perfect. Because there's one thing that always happens. Whenever you see these moral arbiters, whenever you see these people who basically want to dictate how you live your life, and they believe they've got the answers, and they believe that, you know, they're in a position like, listen to me, that authority. Why is it they're always massive fucking hypocrites? Why is it whatever they project onto you, they're secretly doing themselves? You know? Why? It's incredible. And it happens every time. Every time. Crash override network leaks, same shit. We've set up an anti-harassment group. What do you do in your spare time? Harass people? So they can't help themselves. You've got to be fucking really dubious about any of these fucking people that want to peddle the answers, that say like, oh, listen to me, I'm suitable, I can dictate how you behave. It's like the people who fucking censor films. They actually believe, like, oh, well, you know, obviously we can watch them as critics, right? I mean, we went to Oxford. We won't get corrupted by the fucking human centipede. Lips on arseholes, fine, no problem. I can cope with that, but you can't. That's definitely going out. That's definitely going. You couldn't cope with it, mate. I can. Like, that mindset is ridiculous. And you know those cunts fucking go home and probably try and make a centipede themselves later that day. Out of dogs. Maybe. All right, I might have made that last bit up, mate. But my point is, they're probably based on all the evidence, they're probably more likely to than you or me. We're just normal people.
Calm down. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of it. Yeah, we are fucked up. The big bag introduction proves that. Excellent. So anyway, that's my rant about Keith Vaz. You're awful quiet on this one time. I can't help but feel that's because most of it happened while you were in diapers.
And as well, we laughed for a good 30 minutes about Keith Vaz before we did this.
Yeah, that did sort of kill it out. Some would say all the best material stayed out of the video.
Yeah, probably.
Not me though. So I think we can wrap it up there. We're gonna do some more videos soon, but I had to have a gloat. And seriously, if Keith Vaz does somehow survive this politically, and trust me, they'll go for that sympathetic angle. Oh, you know, he's been trapped in the closet like R. Kelly. All that. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. There's literally nothing to fucking validate that whatsoever. You know, and just, you know, you might be into both things. Like, it's not, you know, there's no need to try and portray him as a sympathetic character here. Keith Vaz is a piece of shit. He is a piece of shit. He is fucking demonstrably corrupt. He supports the destruction of art. He supports putting bounties on people that fucking create art. He stands for everything that people shouldn't. He's grotesque. He is the archetypal caricature of a fucking corrupt British politician. Not even corrupt in the cool ways, you know, not like $1 million deals. We're like fucking bankers and all that, like, haha, let us enslave them. Yes, I am a lizard now. Haha. Not even the cool kind of corruption, right? Like, just shit like, yeah, all right. Well, listen, yeah, I'm not giving you 150 quid for that. Bring poppers, 100 quid for you, mate. Like, he's just fucking lowballing rent boys. You know what I mean? So, yeah, fuck Keith Vaz, for real. Anything to add?
Bring poppers.
So, see you.